Should I have shown up with mobile crisis, it would have been a very different situation. The money needs to go into it.
Hartford Hospital. We got an officer stabbed in his throat. All right? Have him meet us at emergency room. ASAP. We're going to be escorting.
A powerful example of just how important mobile crisis teams are to get people the mental health care they need.
Former Hartford police officer Jill Kidik survived a stabbing while she was responding to a call that she says should have included one of those teams.
I'm not angry at Chevoughn. She is a victim in just a different way than I am. Should I have shown up with mobile crisis, they would have already known a little bit of her history, as they have access to that, and police departments do not. And it would have been a very different situation.
Mobile crisis work, it is a perfect way to actually maintain clients that do not belong in the criminal system to actually get access to the health care that they need. Just imagine you're in a moment of your worst, you have had an argument with your spouse or your children, or you just lost your job. There's all these pressures and you're not able to function the way that you normally would during these circumstances. So what does the community do when they hear noises and banging and yelling and screaming? Is that they call the police.
Hi, I need to report vandalism.
Vandalism to?
Our apartment.
Is there any certain floor apartments?
It's in our common areas, in our elevator and lobby.
12-9's going to take care of this. You want me to head over to Constitution Plaza?
Yeah, it's up for 5 Constitution on the 69 complaint. It's over, looks like some flyers that are being taken down.
The police gets there and obviously they need to enforce the law, and that's the primary goal of the police department. They might not be able to distinguish whether this is a mental health situation, a substance abuse situation. So having the mobile crisis team be the first one to be deployed in that particular circumstance would decrease the amount of individuals that actually end up through the criminal justice.
Somebody with Kidik? Anybody else coming? Bring a med bag. We need Boston EMS here, ASAP.
It was an emotional day in the courtroom as Jill Kidik took the stand, and her loved ones, including about a dozen Hartford police officers, watched on. Kidik was stabbed at least 7 times in her neck and other parts of her body after responding to a tenant-landlord disagreement at the Spectre Apartments downtown. As she gave her testimony today, the suspect in her case watched on.
I couldn't see her, and I was begging her to stop. I said I have a daughter, because I had a stepdaughter at the time, and she just didn't stop.
Placed my right hand on her throat, and I said, baby, we got to get out of here. And she nodded. She understood me. She nodded. She was just kept saying I couldn't breathe. I couldn't, and I told her, so you're talking, you're breathing, you're doing fine. I just wanted to keep her up. Didn't want her to pass out on me.
Places like Hartford, where you have had institutions shut down and bought apartment buildings and just moved all of the residents into these apartment buildings, you're gonna need more access to mobile crisis in a city like that. Nothing's gonna be the perfect answer, but there does need to be an understanding that the money needs to go into it. We need to accept that we have a mental health crisis. We have to stop being in denial about it. And it's not the police officer's job to solve it completely. That's not entirely our job. It takes a whole village to fix a problem like that.
Clear a road, clear the path all the way to Hartford Hospital right now, ASAP.
We have used additional federal funds as a result of the COVID pandemic. So we have infused into mobile crisis with our private nonprofit providers, experts in substance use. So historically, the mobile crisis teams have focused on mental health. This allows us to respond to a mental health or substance use crisis. So really expanding the expertise on the team. We have also created with United Way 211 a centralized call line. So we supported that call line through these additional dollars.
What I would like to see with future funding or new funding that comes along is more autonomy for the mobile crisis teams. Being able to be more autonomous would allow us to do our work more efficiently and depend less, for example, on our fellow police officers. Though we try and not necessarily contact the police department when we are going into the communities, at times there are particular situations that may merit it. But their function in that particular moment is to help us, the clinician, feel safer when we get there. Most of the time, once we're there and we're assessing the situation, we tell our police officers that they're free to go. If the situation then escalates, then other protocols are followed.
It is very important because you don't know when someone's going to have a moment. No one thought that at 9 o'clock in the morning I was going to walk into a building and come out almost dead because that's when she snapped. It is really important that people understand that we need the mobile crisis, but we need them to also work with the police departments. We can't be having civilians that are trained as counselors to go into situations where they could end up like me, but they don't have a radio or anybody coming for them to call for help.
358, I'm going to the hospital.
Clear intervals, 10-4.
My opinion, if someone had listened to me 10 years ago, I might not have done all the damage I did to my body.